Lesson 350. Miracles mirror God's eternal love. To offer them is to remember Him, and through His memory to save the world.
Hi there. Let's explore the fascinating connections between miracles, forgiveness, and the memory of our oneness with God today. Have you ever wondered how these principles are interconnected in the perspective of A Course in Miracles? Let's dive into the intriguing Lesson 350.
Miracles mirror God's eternal love. To offer them is to remember Him, and through His memory to save the world. What we forgive becomes a part of us, as we perceive ourselves. The Son of God incorporates all things within Himself as you created Him. Your memory depends on His forgiveness. What He is unaffected by His thoughts. But what He looks upon is their direct result. Therefore, my Father, I would turn to you. Only your memory will set me free. And only my forgiveness teaches me to let your memory return to me, and give it to the world in thankfulness.
And as we gather miracles from Him, we will indeed be grateful. For as we remember Him, His Son will be restored to us in the reality of love.
In other words, with today's lesson, we are encouraged to view forgiveness from yet another angle. As you may recall from previous lessons, forgiveness in the thought system of A Course in Miracles isn't about personal acts of pardoning others for perceived wrongs. Instead, it's about looking beyond the illusion of separation and sin, and understanding that in ultimate reality, we are not separate from each other and we all remain as God created us, perfect, whole, holy, and innocent. This fundamental shift in perception from fear to love, from separation to oneness, allows us to see conflict as rooted in illusion. Today's lesson highlights how forgiveness allows us to recall the memory of God, the memory of our spiritual truth. In this life on earth, we may be affected by our thinking, and our thoughts affect perception, which in turn affects our interpretation of the world. Yet, as we highlighted in other lessons, it all starts with projection. Today's lesson highlights how forgiveness enables us to recall the memory of God, the memory of our spiritual truth. In this earthly life, we are influenced by our thoughts, which shape our perceptions and consequently our interpretation of the world. Yet, as we have highlighted in other lessons, it all begins with our own ego's projections.
Projection comes before perception.
Perception follows judgment.
Perception is a choice.
Lesson 325. All things I think I see reflect ideas.
However, our true nature remains forever unaffected and untouched by our fleeting thoughts and emotions. Our essence stays pure, just as God created us. And as we forgive, as we shift our perception from fear to love and from separation to oneness, we no longer perceive others as separate entities. We are all part of our oneness in God. We begin to recognize that all minds are joined, and that our perception of others reflects how we see ourselves. When we forgive and perceive the innocence in our brothers, we come to recognize and accept our own innocence and wholeness. This healing process occurs in both the forgiver and the forgiven, aligning us with the truth of our spiritual reality and dissolving the illusions of our ego. It also heals our own sense of separation and enables us to rediscover our oneness with God. This is the memory that will set us free. As stated in today's lesson,
Only your memory will set me free. And only my forgiveness teaches me to let your memory return to me.
miracles are expressions of God's love, or put another way, extensions of God's love. And as this lesson teaches, we can offer miracles to recall the memory of God within us. It's also suggested that forgiveness is a crucial step in this process of receiving and offering miracles. This is because of the inherent shift in perception, from fear to love and from separation to oneness, that occurs in the process. Indeed, both are shifts in perception. And as we shift our perception and receive miracles, we will indeed feel grateful, We will also remember God and our oneness with Him, our identity as the Son of God, and the ultimate reality where only love is real.
Miracles mirror God's eternal love. To offer them is to remember Him, and through His memory to save the world.
Miracles mirror God's eternal love. To offer them is to remember Him, and through His memory to save the world.
Miracles mirror God's eternal love. To offer them is to remember Him, and through His memory to save the world.
Isn't that beautiful? Don't you feel that with this lesson, yet another piece has been added to the puzzle of our understanding and consciousness today? Keep practicing morning and evening, and bring today's idea to mind every hour. Should you encounter resistances in forgiving a brother today, remember the close relationship between miracles and forgiveness, and gently repeat to yourself,
Miracles mirror God's eternal love. To offer them is to remember Him, and through His memory to save the world.
"You're doing great." See you tomorrow for another inspiring lesson and the introduction to a new section of A Course in Miracles. One final note, today we're concluding the section What is a Miracle? If you haven't watched the intro to this section yet, click on the video link that will appear on your screen shortly. And for long-term subscribers looking to support the channel as we enter 2024, please click the second video link, the one that says Hire Me. Thanks. And don't forget we are all one.
If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like and leave a comment. Thanks. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. There's a new lesson every day.